Trapped in a moment between life and death, a girl is thrust into a battle of the sexes.
Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Mayday is a 2021 film that explores themes of gender roles and relationships, written and directed by Karan Sinor. Today, we'll be reviewing and recapping the events of this movie. So let's check it out.
Anna is having a strange dream about a plane when her colleague Dimitri knocks on her window with a coffee. He tells her she has to stop sleeping in her car. She works in a hotel, and in the kitchen, an older chef Max senses she's had a rough night, so he pours them out a shot of vodka each to perk them up. The hotel is preparing for a wedding, and the bride Marcia and her groom arrive to inspect the premises. Marcia asks for Anna's help, so she takes her to the restroom. The stress of the wedding day is getting to her, and she needs a few minutes to collect her thoughts. Anna too is having a rough time. Something is on her mind, and she takes shelter in a closet as the power in the building goes out, leaving her alone in the dark with an ice sculpture of a swan. Unfortunately, she accidentally breaks it when the disdainful head waiter tells her to bring it out, and she runs into the basement. Alone in the dark, she hears a voice repeating the words, Mary, Alpha, Yankee, Delta, Alpha, Yankee. She senses voices coming from a lit stove. She opens the door, climbs inside, and finds herself in a deep pool of water. She's woken up on a beach by a woman who looks exactly the same as Marcia. She's followed out of the water by a pilot who tells her there's a war. Marcia takes her to her motorbike, leaving the pilot behind, and looks back over her shoulder as an unseen foe shoots the pilot dead. The two of them ride through the forest, arriving at a submarine in a dock. Marcia takes Anna and puts her to bed in one of the cabins. Later, Anna wakes up in her bunk, meeting Gert and Bee. They take her out onto the deck to dance with red sparklers and gaze as a ship out in the water appears to burn. The survivors shoot bright red flares into the sky. The girls take her swimming in the ocean, and afterwards, Marcia takes her for target practice. She tells her that she must be dead to have arrived here at this coastline with them. Anna is a natural sniper and pops the far-off dummy head with a well-placed sniper bullet. Marcia sends a fake distress signal to a ship. The male voice offers to respond to their SOS, but unknown to him, they are leading him and his boat into a storm. Over the radio, they hear his cries as their ship goes down in the waves. The girls go swimming in the ocean again, and while Anna prepares to join them, a soldier sneaks up and takes her down. They wrestle, but she's able to escape and run into the woods. Later, Marcia finds her hiding behind a tree and takes her to the sub to dress her wounds. She tells her she has to toughen up and start getting ready. As Anna dreams, she finds herself driving through a long underground receiving an emergency transmission. She wakes up to Bee speaking to herself in her sleep and goes up on deck where Marcia is stargazing through the telescope. Bee is sending up a weather balloon which nearly carries her into the sky, but the girls grab her and bring her back down as the giant white balloon takes the weather satellite high into the atmosphere. Footage of the girls' loving life on the desert island plays as Anna tries her hand at luring more sailors to their doom. The sun sets on another day, and the girls look up into the starry sky again before they come under fire from an unseen enemy. They take cover as the bullets ping around them. Anna returns fire and takes care of their foe. The next day, they find the body on the coast and loot them before Marcia announces they are going hunting. Again, they find a man on his back in the woods. This time, it's the same man who was the groom in Anna's old life. He lies dying on his back and asks them to tell his wife he loves her. Marcia's attitude changes as she says she doesn't think he loves his wife, and maybe his wife is happier without him. She raids his pack, takes a knife out, and cuts his throat. Later, the girls rest up in the woods while Anna tells Gert that she got there through an oven. And Gert says a lot of people found their way through an oven. Gert doesn't reveal how she got there. They also don't talk about how Bee did. They doze off, and in Anna's dream, she's back in her car in the tunnel. Suddenly, she awakes to a man's hands around her throat, and the girls are on him in a flash with their pistols at his head. Seeing he has no weapon, Marcia gives him a head start and tells him to run into the woods. The girls track him down, chasing him through the darkness, and they are on him before long. Marcia knocks him to the floor, puts her boot on the back of his head, and holds his face into the dirt, suffocating him. The girls find a camp of sleeping soldiers, and Anna lines them up in her scope. She breathes slowly but hesitates, and Marcia shouts at her to take the shot, as she startles Anna and shoots and misses, waking the soldiers up. Anna runs through the woods, but Marcia catches up and knocks her out. She awakes later in her underwear. Marcia has taken her clothes. When she returns to the sub to ask where they are, Marcia says she isn't worthy of wearing them. Anna picks up a distress signal from another ship that has lost power. She tells them not to come any closer and that she will swim out to meet them. The man advises against it but promises he'll be back for them. Gert rushes over to tell them that soldiers have caught B. Anna gets them in her sights. This time she doesn't hesitate and dispatches them with 2 quick-fire shots. Gert figures out that Marcia sent B into the woods by herself to create a situation where Anna would have to set up and pull the trigger, which worked. Out in the woods, Anna finds a military photographer hanging from a tree by his parachute. She shoots him out of the tree, and he leads her to a camp of soldiers shaving and dressing. She makes ready to fire before the sounds of overhead planes distract her and begin to drop bombs all around them. They run through the woods as the barrage explodes and Anna is knocked down. She awakens at the edge of a field and finds a field hospital full of injured male soldiers. The film takes an unexpected turn as the upbeat piano music kicks and the soldiers all stand in unison and begin to participate in an impromptu dance number around Anna.
The dreamlike atmosphere of the island really comes into its own here. And it's a shame that there haven't been more of these out there moments, as they're very amusing.
As quickly as the dance begins, it ends, and Anna, with a stony expression and dressed in military gear, walks away from the field as if none of it ever happened. She arrives back at the sub and scuffles with Marcia, whose harsh, uncompromising attitude is becoming less endearing. Anna goes to shoot soldiers and picks them off by the coast with a dispassionate expression. A bomber flies overhead and shells land around the sub as the girls shelter beneath the deck. This moment fades away and Anna is alone in the woods and finds Max from her old life peeling potatoes into a bucket. He tells her she looks dreadful and bids her sit before offering her his hip flask. She shares a rare moment of peace with this comforting male figure, the only warm, masculine character experience she's had since arriving at this strange island. She rests her head on his knee, and as she sleeps, she's back in the tunnel again. When she wakes up, her head is on Marcia's knee. They fight again, and Marcia loses all of her charms, becoming a cruel, violent bully, and Anna is able to fend her off this time. She returns to Get and tells her that she doesn't want to be there anymore and needs to return to her real life. The man from the radio is back. He's getting weaker and tells Anna that his oxygen levels are depleting and he won't be able to come and save her. Anna recognizes his voice and we see him wherever he is as she realizes that he's Dimitri from her past life. She tells him he has to go to sleep to save the oxygen as it runs out in the sub. She tells Gert she remembers everything about her past life and Gert agrees to help her escape, but they'll need some help. Anna rides a motorbike into the woods and finds June, a mechanic working on an engine, and tells her she wants to leave. June is older and wiser than the rest of the girls. She tells her to think about the repercussions of her leaving this world behind. If she leaves, all the girls will vanish from this world. They will need her to stay to keep existing. Anna returns to the sub, decided that she isn't going to leave. They tell her she shouldn't stay for them, and she thinks maybe she can take the girls back, but they say it's too late for them. They take her to a room in the sub she's never been to with a board full of flashing dials. Then suddenly, we're underwater where 2 groups of women are swimming underwater in slow motion. This moment doesn't go anywhere, but it's pretty to look at and seems like an attempt to pad the script out a little bit. The girls make a plan to help Anna escape and June arrives at the sub to back them up. Later they play catch with a ball as Marcia looks on jealously and she steals the ball and shouts at them all, angry that Anna plans to leave them behind. Her anger gives way to sadness as she pleads for Anna not to leave, but Anna has made up her mind. That night the alarm sounds in the sub as the lights go red and Anna gets ready to make her escape. The team make ready to help Anna. Gert mans the controls in the sub, June has her eyes on the tides, and B is up in the plane keeping an eye on the weather. As the storm approaches, Anna dives into the ocean. The riptide starts to drag her under the water, and as she sinks unconscious, Marcia gets on the radio and sends a signal out to Anna. Somehow, she can hear Marcia's calls for her to wake up and swims back to the surface. As she swims away through the ocean, water bursts through the sub and it begins to fill as the fantasy she created disappears. She swims toward the submerged Dimitri and pulls him out of the water. She's back in the real world and the wedding is underway. Anna takes the stage as a disco ball casts glistening lights over her, and her hair seems to blow in the wind. She takes a deep breath and the movie cuts to black.
Mayday is a showcase of style over narrative. The story is a bit thin, and it's more of a comment on women's relationships with men who try to keep them down than a study of character or plot. Because of this, the script runs very thin, and it's full of pretty moments that only have a point beyond showcasing the movie's eye for style. Now, it is shot beautifully, and the dreamlike Alice in Wonderland style is quite captivating up to a point, but it lacks a solid story to keep it going for its running time. And it would have been much better if it was just a little bit shorter. Now, if you're looking for a movie with a nearly completely female cast that explores themes of sexism and gender roles in a confident and stylish way, then Mayday might be the one for you. Please subscribe to our channel to be notified when we upload, and don't forget to suggest movies that you want us to recap in the future in the comments down below. We'll see you soon.